You know, there's something truly special about this time in our lives. The kids might be grown, the hectic rush of work is behind us, and finally, we have a little more time to breathe. But let me ask you something. Do you ever wake up in the morning and think, how can I make today a little brighter? Maybe you've noticed that some days feel a bit dull, like the spark just isn't there the way it used to be. Well, I want you to know, you're not alone. And more importantly, there's simple, beautiful ways to bring more joy into your everyday life, no matter what your age. That's exactly what we're going to talk about today. 5 simple habits that can help you find joy every single day after 60. These aren't complicated changes or expensive fixes. They're little shifts in how we approach our days, the things we choose to focus on, and the small moments we decide to savor. Because happiness isn't just about the big milestones, it's in the everyday. So, let's start with the first habit, and this one might surprise you. Start your day with gratitude. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Gratitude? Really? How is that going to make a difference? But here's the thing. When we take just a few moments each morning to focus on what we're thankful for, it sets the tone for the entire day. It's like putting on a pair of glasses that help us see the good instead of the things that might be weighing us down. You don't have to write a long journal entry or make a grand speech. It can be as simple as lying in bed for an extra minute and thinking, I'm grateful for this cozy blanket, for the birds singing outside, for the cup of coffee I'm about to enjoy. Maybe it's the smile of a loved one, the fact that you woke up feeling rested, or even the quiet peace of the morning. When we train our minds to notice these little blessings, something amazing happens. We start to see more of them, and before we know it, joy sneaks in, one grateful thought at a time. Now, let's move on to the second habit. Move your body in a way that feels good. I'm not talking about running a marathon or lifting heavy weights, unless that's what brings you happiness. But our bodies were made to move, and when we do, even gently, it releases those wonderful little chemicals called endorphins that just make us feel better. Maybe it's a short walk around the neighborhood, listening to the sounds of nature. Maybe it's stretching in the living room while your favorite song plays in the background. Or perhaps it's dancing in the kitchen while you wait for the kettle to boil. Yes, dancing counts. The key is to find something that feels enjoyable, not like a chore. Because when movement feels good, we're more likely to keep doing it. And when we keep doing it, we feel lighter, more energized, and yes, happier. Now, before we move on to the next habit, I want you to think about this. What's one small way you could bring more gratitude or movement into your day? Maybe it's pausing to appreciate the sunrise or taking an extra lap around the garden. Because joy doesn't always come from big changes. It's often hiding in the little choices we make. And speaking of choices, let's talk about the next habit, one that can truly transform the way we experience each day. You know, one of the most beautiful things about life after 60 is that we've earned the right to slow down and truly savor the moments that matter. But sometimes, in the quiet of our days, we might forget just how powerful those small moments can be. That's why the next habit is so important. Connect with someone every single day. Now, I don't mean you have to throw a big party or host a gathering, unless you want to. Connection can be as simple as a phone call with an old friend, a warm chat with a neighbor over the fence, or even a friendly wave to the mail carrier. We humans are wired for connection. It's like sunshine for the soul. And when we make a point to reach out, even in tiny ways, it reminds us that we're not alone in this world. Maybe it's sending a handwritten note to your grandchild, sharing a memory with a sibling, or even striking up a conversation with someone at the grocery store. Those little exchanges, the laughter, the stories, the simple "how are you?" can turn an ordinary day into something brighter. And if you're feeling a little isolated, remember this. The world is full of people who would love to hear from you. You'd be surprised how much joy you can bring and receive just by showing up for someone else. Now, let's talk about the fourth habit. Do something just for the fun of it. When was the last time you did something purely because it made you happy? Not because it was productive, not because it checked something off a list, but just because it brought you joy. For some of us, that might mean picking up a paintbrush and letting colors swirl across the page without worrying about whether it's good. For others, it could be singing along to old records, planting flowers just to watch them grow, or even trying a silly new hobby like birdwatching or baking cookies. The key here is to let go of perfection and embrace play. Remember how it felt to be a kid, when joy was found in simple, uncomplicated things? That magic hasn't gone anywhere. It's still inside you, waiting to be rediscovered. And here's the best part. When we give ourselves permission to have fun, without any pressure or expectations, we start to see the world with lighter hearts. Life doesn't have to be so serious all the time. So, what's one thing you've been putting off because it feels frivolous? Maybe today's the day to finally do it, just because it makes you smile. Now, as we move forward, I want you to think about how these habits are starting to weave together. Gratitude, movement, connection, and play. They're not separate ideas. They're threads in the same beautiful tapestry of a joyful life. And the final habit we'll explore next ties them all together in a way that might just surprise you. You know, as we get older, we start to realize something profound. Joy isn't something we chase, it's something we choose. And that brings us to our fifth and final habit. End your day by celebrating the small wins. Think about it. How often do we fall into bed at night focusing on what we didn't get done or what went wrong? But what if, instead, we took just a moment to say, "Today I did my best," and that's enough. Maybe you got out of bed even when you didn't feel like it. Maybe you shared a kind word with a stranger or finally tried that new recipe. Those little victories, they matter. They're proof that you're still growing, still showing up for your life. One lovely way to do this is to keep a joy journal by your bedside. Just a few scribbles each night about something that made you smile that day. The way the sunlight hit your favorite chair in the afternoon. The way your grandchild's laughter sounded over the phone. Even the simple pleasure of a warm cup of tea before bed. When we end our days by collecting these bright moments, we train our hearts to look for light, even on harder days. Now, let's take a step back and look at how these 5 habits work together like a gentle dance. We start the day with gratitude, move our bodies with kindness, connect with others in meaningful ways, make time for pure enjoyment, and end the day by honoring our small triumphs. These aren't rules, they're invitations. Invitations to wake up to the joy that's already around you, just waiting to be noticed. I want you to remember something important. None of this is about adding more to your to-do list. It's about subtracting the weight of thinking happiness has to be complicated. Joy is in the ordinary magic of everyday life, if we slow down enough to see it. So here's my challenge to you. Pick just one of these habits to try tomorrow. Maybe it's pausing to really taste your morning coffee while thinking of one thing you're grateful for. Maybe it's calling that friend you've been meaning to catch up with. Or perhaps it's finally digging out those watercolors and making a mess, just for the fun of it. Whatever you choose, know this: every small step toward joy matters. Before we go, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What's one small thing that brought you joy this week? Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. And if this video resonated with you, go ahead and hit that like button. It helps others find these messages too. Don't forget to subscribe if you'd like more conversations like this, because no matter our age, we all deserve to live lives full of meaning and delight. So from my heart to yours, here's to finding joy in the ordinary, to celebrating each new day, and to remembering that the best years aren't behind us. They're happening right now. Thank you for being here, and until next time, keep shining.